Huge shout out to Corey Feldman for all of the video messages.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Corey. I don't know where I'd be without you. This is week 45, and a bit of bad news from the Take Two Plus podcast crew.
Oh.
I am going to jail. I didn't tell you that I killed him. I just said that I was going to prison. You must have thought it was for not killing X, but no, I killed X. He's
X isn't even real. What are you talking about, man? Killed your fake imaginary friend.
And so I have a few things. Okay. I have a few concerns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going down. I'm innocent, actually. I am innocent when it comes to the murder of X. I have a few concerns.
You literally just said you killed
just
him.
Confessed to it. Like,
if you rewind the tape 35 seconds, you will literally find yourself saying, "I
so
killed
it should
him."
be fine. I have a few concerns, fellas, and I know it's all fun and games, but I don't have a pair of metal shoes, and so will they provide those for you?
What? You've watched too much Face Off. There are no metal shoes in prison. Like, not actually.
This entire prison's one big magnetic field.
That is some weird, like, sci-fi holdover from, like, the initial draft of Face Off that still made it into the movie Face Off, even though the other sci-fi elements got stripped.
If the movie taught us anything, having metal boots has literally zero consequence at all, because it made no factor whatsoever in the film when they.
The boots tell us where you are.
It's a nuisance. I mean, he has to get rid of them. But,
he gets them off very easily.
Well,
get his boots, Walton.
They have metal boots as like a security precaution, and then a whole like brawl breaks out over a cigarette, and they don't ever like activate the metal boots. It's like, no, it
takes a little while.
The prison would be so much more effective if those boots didn't come off.
Get his boots, Walton.
What's always confused me about that prison is obviously like an oil rig that they shot on or something. But is it supposed to be an oil rig that was turned into a prison in the movie, or did they just not bother hiding the fact
That's
that
just
it's
the prison at
rig?
the oil company.
I think it is. Like, the name of it.
And the bad employees.
Yeah.
The name of the prison is Erewhon Prison, which is nowhere spelled backwards.
You are now the property of Erewhon Prison, a citizen of nowhere.
So I think it's supposed to be like this remote prison that's in the middle of nowhere, right? Like, so it is probably supposed to be like, you can imagine that the government repurposed an oil rig and just turned it into a prison or something, if that's what you want to imagine. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense, and certainly that prison doesn't actually fit inside an oil rig. An oil rig would not actually. He's just like, they're like, where would be a cool place for him to pop out of after he exits this prison? Someone's like, oil rig, and like, that'll do. That'll do. Like, I'm sure there were other ideas, and they were much worse than oil rig. You know? Like,
was this after The Rock came out? It was after The Rock, right?
Yeah, technically.
And like, you remember how fun it was to see Nic Cage on like a prison island?
I think that's what they're like. It's going for so clearly. It's Alcatraz, you know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm sure there's an Alcatraz element to it too.
Oh, it's like this. Like another prison island, really, right?
There's also the fact that this prison clearly does like lobotomies on people or whatever they were going to do to Nic Cage. When they
I thought like shock therapy to death. Shock therapy to death. Like, to the point of execution, like, not just shock therapy. Like, let's see if we can correct this guy's personality defects. No, it's like, let's just
part of the federal government, or is this like a Guantanamo thing? Maybe.
I think it's more blacklist. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like a blacklist.
Yeah, it's like the Arkham Asylum of the Face Off world.
Which makes a lot more sense that it would be in an abandoned oil rig in that case.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
For all we know, this is an actual prison. shot on location.
We might be stumbling onto something here, folks.
The Geneva Convention is void here. Amnesty International doesn't know we exist. When I say your ass belongs to me, I mean exactly that.
Do you think when the two mics came up with naming the prison Nowhere backwards, they just like high-fived each other and thought they were like,
oh, for sure,
100%.
This is it, guys.
And they put down the pen to a day, and they just went and got a drink.
Very exciting stuff. Do we have any other information? I know that there's some missing scenes from the prison sequence. Do we have any of that, Tyler?
There was one originally. I think we mentioned it multiple times. This movie was supposed to be set in the future, and the prison's kind of the only thing that is a holdover of that. At least I think it is.
The future of like Iran or something.
Technology.
Yeah. Apparently, like I think they said like John Woo came in and he like nixed all the sci-fi elements, but he for some reason kept the prison like this.
Yeah, it was a Michael Douglas.
That'll be fine.
Very much like.
A quick question for Sean: are you actually at a strip club, Sean? Is that what the colors are?
Yeah, I am. I'm at an Atlanta strip club right now. I just thought.
John just goes to strip clubs for the lights.
Who doesn't? And the wings.
There was also apparently a scene or like background scenes where life sentence prisoners were hanging upside down by these magnetic boots. I assume as a form of torture.
I just picture. Yeah, it's like bats. Like I'm just picturing bats. Like that was probably how they made them sleep at night. Like that's how they stored them. Maybe they had to sleep at night upside down.
Our new night guards are sleeping. I think in the timeline, like this all happens within just in a few minutes, right? But they start that riot in the prison, and that one guy's being executed, like electrified to death, like maybe a minute later.
Anybody got a light? Got a
light? There's very swift future justice.
Justice is swift but fair.
Do we know how far offshore that prison is?
No.
No!
He swims. He swims all the way there. He's fine. He does.
Very strong.
No, he doesn't.
Let's call 911 again and see where they're at.
I think, Chris, I think it's in your head still, pal.
I'm like Mr. Hicks.
Yeah. I mean, you killed something that's in your own head, and that's maybe not a bad thing.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to record podcasts where I'm going, but
Probably not.
I hope you guys will continue on with 52 weeks. But I'm sure I'll just ask to use the computer room.
We'll come see you
Eventually.
We promise. And if you're not here next week, we'll know you're actually.
You'll visit me every day then.
Hey, that's pretty good.